Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Traffic Commission meeting for December 27 to order. Members present are Frank Stringy, City Planner, Fire Chief Christopher Bright, myself, Paul Argenzio. If you could join me in a salute to the flag. We're going to start with the public hearing. We're going to take item 4 first. Amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions generally by adding Fry Street, the northerly side, the entire length. Does anyone here wish to speak in favor of this proposal?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I've been a resident of that area for over 50 years, and each and every year it comes up, and snow plowing and so forth, the dangers of it, of traversing Fry Street. Bearing in mind there's only one house on Fry Street, two houses actually, there's only one on the northerly side. And everybody has adequate driveways that we can use, including myself. And the most impact will be occurring is me. I have my two vehicles that I always park adjacent to my property. But I will gladly forfeit that luxury, park in the driveway like others do, and the neighborhood will be much easier and safer to traverse. We have many senior citizens who have little puppy dogs that they walk every day, and when I see them walking out in the street in motor vehicles, speeding on two wheels, coming up Martin Street, that doesn't make it right, but they are doing it. It's a fact of reality. I want to make their lives a little more safer by allowing them to walk their dogs on the street. Right now, you can't park. We have no sidewalks per se, but if you park illegally, because that's the only way we can get cars to go down Fry Street. So with this one-sided parking only, I think that will be beneficial to everybody in the neighborhood. And bearing in mind also that we have to, even though they're our neighbors and they're behaving, they're doing everything right, the Revere School has many parents who visit throughout the day to go to that location, and they're always going down there, and I see head-on situations all the time. And cars are parked on both sides, and somebody has to give. And sometimes each parent thinks they're more important than the other to get to their child first, and I can understand that. But the reality, again, is that some danger could occur at any instance. So I ask of this indulgence to have this done, and I'd like it done as soon as possible to enable the people of that area to walk safely, the children of that area to walk on a sidewalk like all the other kids in the community do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other people wishing to speak in favor of this proposal? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Anyone wish to speak in opposition? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Do I hear a motion from the floor?
A motion to approve.
Okay, if this has been granted,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Getting back to the regular order of business. Public hearings number 1, amend Schedule 5 of Title 10, one-way streets by adding Crest Ave, Endicott Ave, and Bradstreet Ave. The directions of the changes will be decided this evening. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of changing these streets to one-ways?
All right, I spoke to the ward councils, can't be present tonight, and she gave me her recommendations as far as what she would like to have happen over there.
Okay.
Basically, we're looking at Bradstreet Avenue. If you look at your paperwork, you have it on the fourth page of the map, Bradstreet Avenue on it. If anyone needs one in the audience, we have some extras over here. So Bradstreet Avenue, she'd like to make it a one-way, starting at Atlantic, heading up in an eastern direction towards the water to, I believe it's Bateman Avenue. Hold on, it's this street. Bateman Road. Should be Grass Street Avenue one-way to Bateman, and then heading eastbound. All right. Crest Avenue, which is currently a one-way from Bateman heading easterly. Should like to make the other end a one-way from Bateman westerly to Atlantic. So basically, it would be a big loop coming around.
Okay, so Brad Street easterly from Atlantic Avenue all the way down to the water, basically. Well, to Bateman, but then the rest of that is one-way anyway. It exists now.
I believe
From
that,
Summer to Bellingham is one-way currently in that same direction.
no, it's gonna stay, it's two ways, gonna stay two-way. From Bateman to Endicott, there's two ways right now, and it'll stay two ways.
Okay, because I was on Brad Street today, and there's a do not enter sign at the corner of Brad Street in Bellingham, preventing cars from going up Brad Street. And that was from Summer down to Bellingham.
Crest Avenue,
Brad Street Ave, there's a do not enter sign at the corner of Brad Street and Bellingham.
You can't come up the hill.
You can't come up the hill.
Present. I don't know how it is on the books, but that's how it is.
I believe if you look on the books, that's how it is. I took a quick look at the ordinance today.
Brad Street Ave easterly, Summer Street to Endicott Avenue.
Right, there's one,
The
so
one-way.
if you continue on, that would make sense to make that whole street, just continue on and make it one way from Atlantic all the way to Bellingham, the entire length. Okay? All right, and then Crest Ave, we want to make it in a westerly direction, the entire length?
Crest Ave's gonna stay the way, from Bateman to Summer's gonna stay the same as it is. Is it Summer?
Okay,
And from Bateman to Atlantic will be a one-way heading westerly.
heading west, okay,
So it's gonna be a split. When you pull up to that street, it's right or left.
okay, all right. And then Endicott will be,
Endicott Avenue is up in the air right now. And the ward council is kind of on the fence with this one here.
okay,
I know Chief Guido was on board on making it a one-way for the bus route, for the plows and stuff.
Right.
The question was to keep it to Leverett or the entire length,
Mhm.
which the commissioners wanted to do with it. And so it was recommended that whatever we do, make it a 60-day trial period or a 30-day trial period, and put it in, and then review it in 2 months.
Just Endicott. The rest would
The
be,
rest of it put through.
Brad Street and Crest would be permanent,
Yeah.
and
but-
Endicott Avenue would be a 60-day trial.
Yeah, so either put it down the entire length from the Parkway all the way to
Dayton.
Atlantic.
I would have to disagree with that, because I think where that island is at Bellingham, when you come down Bellingham Avenue to Endicott Ave, there's an island there.
Mhm.
People can take a left from Bellingham onto Endicott, and then also a left from Endicott onto Bellingham from that island. And I talked to the residents that live in that lower end. They would be agreeable to having a two-way from that island. I forget the name of that connector street between Bellingham and Endicott,
Mhm.
two-way in a easterly direction to the Parkway, as it is now.
So what you're saying is keep that small section from the island to the Parkway two-way?
Right.
Okay.
There's people in that lower end who have to get onto the parkway, or even, and that's how they get onto the parkway, either head towards Winthrop or towards Elliott Circle. If they're heading towards Winthrop, they would have to go all the way down Endicott Avenue, down to Atlantic, and come all the way back, just for that little short run. Pardon me? Yeah,
Do we want to table Endicott Avenue?
I think it's appropriate to table it, because the residents of that lower end, they would be inconvenienced the most. It really doesn't make sense for them to have that stay as a one-way at the bottom. It should stay as two-way from that island. It's a short run from that island down to the parkway.
Second?
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to table Endicott Avenue. So moved. And do we have a motion on the floor to create Crescent Avenue in a easterly direction, Brad Street Avenue in an easterly direction from Atlantic the entire length, and then Crest Ave at Bateman, one way in a easterly direction to Atlantic. That sound right? Okay. Do you have a second?
Crest Ave will be a westerly direction, correct?
From Bateman. It would be in a westerly direction from Bateman. That would be an easterly, that's already a one-way in an easterly direction. Okay? All the way to the end, entire length. Okay? You have a motion? Oh, sure.
Hi, Kim Lyons, Crest Ave, Revere, Mass. I'm just a little concerned about the Brad Street Ave coming down. Originally, you said at Bateman, it would stop, being a one-way.
No, it's going to be one way the entire length.
Right,
Okay.
okay. And that's what I have an issue, because people come up Summer Street, and like I come up Summer Street, then I go up Brad Street Ave, then I loop around and I go down my street on Crest Ave. So my concern is, if you make it a one-way all the way down, now people will have to come up Summer, and then they'll have to go all the way to Bellingham.
Then they'll have to take a right.
Left.
A right, a left.
Left on Bellingham, make that loop from Bellingham to Crest.
So basically, when you come up, I just want you to understand, when you come up Summer Street now, Bateman will be a one-way, Brad Street Ave will be a one-way, Crest Ave will be a one-way, and then people will have to take the left at Bellingham.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless we reverse that lower end between Bateman on Crest Ave to two-way. Oh, it's already a one-way, there's no way.
It's already a one-way.
Yeah, you can't do
Yeah.
two-way.
It's very, very narrow. You could,
Unless you
Yeah.
reverse it.
I think that's where the ward council just want to go to Bateman.
okay, are you all set? Do you want to make any other further comments? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with it, but I guess I'm all set.
Okay.
You could also do it for trial period for 60 days.
Okay. So we'll table Endicott Avenue, and we'll change Brad Street and Crest Ave to the way we originally intended, and we'll make it a 60-day trial? Okay. Does that sound good, Frank? Okay, can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion has been approved. So just to be clear, we have Brad Street heading in one way, heading in an easterly direction the entire length. We have Crest Ave at Bateman heading one way in a westerly direction from Bateman to Atlantic, and we have Crest Ave from Bateman to Washington Square, existing as it is now, a one-way in a easterly direction. Okay, thank you. Moving on, item 3. Item 2, amend Schedule 9 of Title 10, resident parking sticker areas by adding Crest Ave both sides the entire length. Anyone wish to speak in favor of resident sticker parking for Crest Ave? Hearing and seeing none, anyone wish to speak in opposition to sticker parking on Crest Ave? Sergeant Janine?
The ward council is in favor of the sticker parking for the area.
Okay,
He's also going to add Cross Street and Bateman for the next meeting.
and we'll add that, Cross Street and Bateman, we'll add that for a public hearing the next time?
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a motion to make Crest Ave?
Make a motion. Motion to approve.
Second. Motion approved. Number 3, amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions generally, by removing Brad Street Ave and Crest Ave and allow for parking on both sides. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of that? Seeing and hearing none, anyone wish to speak in opposition?
I drove around up there, and in my opinion, it's not wide enough. I mean, if the city engineer wants to go up there and measure the streets out and determine, I'm for it, but right now, I can't see making it two-side parking.
Okay, I measured the street this morning, it was 24 feet wide. Brad Street is signed right now for resident sticker parking on both sides. The only area on Brad Street where parking is restricted is from Atlantic Ave to Sale Street on the right side going up. The rest of it is signed for sticker parking on both sides as it exists now according to the signage. I don't know what the ordinance reads currently.
Yeah, I agree. You would need 2 8-foot parking lanes, that's 16 feet, and an 11-foot travel lane. So that's 27 feet.
Right.
And
But
you
it
said it's
exists
only
now.
24 feet.
From Sale Street, all the entire length of Brad Street, there is parking on both sides, and it's signed sticker parking. And Crest Ave is the same, except from Sale Street down. In looking at it this morning, I certainly wouldn't make parking on both sides that piece that's currently no parking going up the hill from Atlantic to Sales, that's that bend. I wouldn't add that. I mean, if
What's on Crest Ave right now?
Crest Ave, they were parking on both sides other than the little piece from Washington Square to Bateman. And there was parking on both sides from Bateman to Sale Street. And then it was one-sided parking from Sales down to Atlantic. That's that real narrow hill that you go down to Atlantic.
On the books, Crest Ave is the southerly side, Bellingham Ave to Washington Square, no parking anytime.
Bellingham Ave,
To Washington Square,
Square.
on the southerly side, whereas Crest Ave is exactly how you said it was.
Okay,
In the Brad Street.
okay.
So Crest Ave, you could make it both side parking from Sale Street to Bateman Road. That's the way it is now?
That's the way it exists when you drive
Why
down
don't
the
we-
street. I don't know what as far as the book's concerned.
Why don't we maintain that unless
Right.
you guys have a problem with the plows and the fire chief has a problem historically?
No, because that's an emergency artery, so we're able to tow on one side, I believe it. Yeah, Bellingham, Crest, and Brad Street, I believe.
So I would make a motion to leave two-side parking on Crest Ave
As it exists,
as exists from Sales to Bateman.
okay. And Brad Street, leave the same. Table it, yeah. I believe that our best bet is to table. It seems to be working now. I know Brad Street, everybody on the right side was parked on the sidewalk, completely blocking the sidewalk. If those cars did come off the sidewalk and park legally, it would be narrow, but, so we'll have to table that. Okay, motion to table?
Second.
Motion to table. Okay, now the public hearing side of this is closed. We're now into requests. The first request is by Councilor Keefe that the provision of the commercial vehicle parking ordinance, which allows for the permitting of take-home company vehicles not registered to the city of Revere, be repealed. Motion to move to a public hearing? Number two is a request for 15 or 30-minute parking at 375 Broadway. I looked at that today. That's currently a no parking area, and it's marked off in yellow. That's the right before the Park Avenue intersection, where people queue up to take a right by Citizens Bank to go up Central Ave. So that would never work, no. Right. It would be blocking that little queue, so we won't even move that to a public hearing. Request denied. Number three, request from Councilor Keefe to make Prospect Avenue resident sticker parking. Motion to move that to a public hearing?
There's a time limitation imposed, or we take that up at the public hearing?
We can take that up at the public hearing. And we want to see Prospect Avenue also goes over, there's a couple of sections of Prospect, maybe clarify what sections of Prospect Ave he wants. There's also a section over by the New Bridge Cafe that, maybe it's not.
If you bring Prospect Avenue, right now I'm getting calls daily on the low end of Prospect by Broadway.
Okay.
From 250 Broadway, cars parked over there. We're up there on a daily basis, nighttime after night, tagging cars. They're gonna piggyback over to Suffolk, over the ridge,
Right.
and over the reservoir.
Right.
All right, so we might wanna look at the whole neighborhood.
Okay.
Or make it the lower half, maybe from TF Carroll way down
All right, okay.
for now. And then try to get the citywide parking orders to effect as soon as maybe summertime rolls around. Somebody talked to Mr. Rose on that also. Get him up here,
Okay.
for the opinion on it.
So we'll move that to a public hearing, and we can discuss the section of Prospect Ave that we want to address. Number four, request that the Traffic Commission consider 2-hour parking between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. on Vinyl Street, between Wilson Street and up to and including 83 Vinyl. Motion to move that to a public hearing? Motion.
Wasn't this before us a couple of years
This
ago?
was before us. I think somebody has a business there, they wanted.
Well, I took a ride there today. I know there's 2-hour parking on Vinyl from Broadway to Wilson. Now, it looks like they might just want to extend it further on down the street. Maybe we're just pushing the cars further on down Vinyl Street, I don't know.
I think we need to take a look at that one and see what the impact is.
Okay.
I would table it.
Table it, okay. Number four, tabled. Number five, request that the mayor request the Traffic Commission to extend the hours of commercial vehicle parking until midnight in business district areas where restaurants are located, such as Broadway, Revere Street, and Shirley Avenue, so that individuals with commercial plates are able to patronize establishments without being issued a violation. Motion to table, motion to...
You know what the problem here is, the commercial vehicle ordinance was put into place to get the commercial vehicles out of residential neighborhoods.
Right.
Somehow they tagged in commercial vehicles in commercial areas, which wasn't what was designed to do.
Intended for, okay.
So I don't know if we can clarify commercial districts and residential districts. This came about, the hills off the avenue, the hills up over here, Beachmont, all the trucks in the neighborhoods. And all of a sudden they're tagging the guy pulling over to Broadway to eat dinner
Right,
at 9 o'clock at night
Right.
because he got his van and they're tagging him.
okay.
And it's a commercial street, it's all businesses, so.
Okay, would you want to table this and get some clarification from Jim Rose, the parking director?
I'd like to put it to public hearing and then talk to Mr. Rose about it and see if we can come up with some kind of a,
Okay,
either revisit the ordinance. It's been in effect for a year now, so we should be able to have the bugs out of it by now.
Okay.
And clarify it.
okay, so we'll move this to a public hearing, a motion to move it to public hearing?
Motion to public hearing. Second.
Okay, move to public hearing. Number 6, request that the mayor request the Traffic Commission to approve the installation of stop signs at the following locations: Liberty Ave for the left turn onto Paul Street and Breeden's Lane for a left turn onto Paul Street. I went up and I spoke to that resident that requested that. We put up some signage and he's satisfied with what we did. They were having some problems at a real sharp turn there, so I think we can let that go. They're satisfied up there. Yeah, table that, number 6. Number 7, request from Councilor Novoselsky to amend Schedule 9 of Title 10, resident sticker parking as follows: Florence Ave, full length both sides; James Street, Florence Ave to Arlington Ave, both sides; Charles Avenue, full length east side; Albert Ave, full length both sides; Walden Street from Shirley Ave to Beach Street, all 24/7. Councilor Novoselsky?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Ira Novoselsky, 53D Holmes Street, Ward 2 Councilor. On several of these, I received complaints from, especially in Charles Street. That's what started it off, because one side of Charles Street has no parking on the west side. And for many, many years, they still park there. Now with the new parking people at night, they were getting tickets. They were finding out that the other side of the street was always full because people are going down to the Beachmont T, and they're walking down the Parkway to get there. So I thought about this. I said, well, if it's happening on Charles Street, it's going to happen on Albert, and it's going to happen on Charles and Albert, because we already have Woods Ave as already permit parking. So I included those two, and it's kind of a request by the people on Charles, but I added Albert knowing that it's going to cause a problem down the road. So, we're requesting that the permit parking be there and let it go 24/7 to protect those people and let them be able to park at least across the street from their homes, because a lot of them don't have driveways down there. The other issue was Florence Ave, and that's been a bone of contention for many years with half the street, but finally we got people signed a petition wanting the permit parking, because the people down on Campbell are walking up the public stairs or walking up Centennial and parking on Florence Ave, and a lot of those people don't have parking driveways. So they've all requested that, and it's the will of the people on that one. And they included James Street up to Arlington for now. We'll see what happens down the road with Arlington, but we know that when they walk up that public stairs, they're going to be parking on James Street, and those people that, they don't live on James, there's no real houses on James, but we know that those folks still park there. So that's why I included James Street up to Arlington Ave, and those are on both sides of the street. And Walden Street, that's the only street in the neighborhood that doesn't have permanent parking. It's on Beach Street. They have Nahant Ave, Walnut Ave, and of course Shirley Ave is metered parking, and we already have permit parking in the municipal lot. And what's happening there is that people are going to the T and parking on Walnut, and the short street that it is, the residents can't even park in their own street because of that. So we requested that. And I think that's it for my requests, and
Okay.
hopefully we can have a public hearing next month.
Okay,
Thank you.
motion to move to public hearing?
Yeah, motion to move.
Second. Okay, motion approved, we'll move that. Number 8, request from Councilor McKenna to amend Schedule 9 of Title 10, resident sticker parking by adding Cross Street and Bateman Road. Motion to move that to a public hearing?
Make a motion to move it to public hearing.
Okay, and number 9 is a communication from Sandra Clary from the McMahon Associates. Reached out to the Traffic Commission on behalf of the MBTA and submitted the attached plans for improvements to local bus stops throughout the city. The improvements do not involve any changes to Title 10 of the Revere City ordinances. They bring the listed locations up to code. Ms. Clary can be available if Traffic Commission wishes to hold a public hearing.
And I spoke with Ms. Cleary over the emails and over the phone last couple of months. Over the last couple of years, I know Frank's been around, they came before the Traffic Commission in the past, they gave us all the plans and stuff. What they're looking to do is to bring up a half dozen or so bus stops into compliance with ADA rules and regulations. Winthrop Avenue, over by the parking lot, the Beachmont train station, Point of Pines, the circle, the traffic circle, fix the sidewalk over there, make it ADA compliant. A couple bus stops over on North Shore Road by the turnaround. They're trying to put some stops in there, make them so wheelchairs can access the buses easier. And then Squire Road by Showcase Cinemas. They want to just make improvements. There's no changes to Title 10. They're not looking to add any new regulations or take away any area from us, just trying to make improvements. The biggest, would be the crosswalks they want to put in.
Okay.
They want to dig the sidewalks out, put the ramps in, add a four-way crosswalk over in Beachmont. It's all stuff that came before us before that we approved of and agree with. But they said if you wanted to come before them, before they start doing it, they'll come in and talk to you. Up to you guys.
Yeah, it's all for just handicap curb ramps, which are necessary anyways at those crosswalks. So it's just bringing everything up to code, ADA accessibility.
Well, this was all passed and came before us before, I don't believe we have to have them up here. Thank you. All right, well, this concludes our meeting. Do we have excuse me? Sure, a couple late communications.
I just have some things to add for a public hearing for our next meeting for Schedule 11 of Title 10 for the handicap persons parking areas. I have 2 addresses. I apologize, I couldn't send the applications over now before this meeting because we have a scanning problem at the office. So I haven't been able to send the addresses to you guys with the applications. The first address is 98 Coolidge Street. It'll be a Revere Housing. I had to leave them a message anyway because I'm still waiting for some medical documentation from them. So hopefully we'll have it by that meeting. And the second address is 94 Crest Ave. So hopefully I'll have that for you for the next meeting with everything. So if we can just order those to a public hearing for the next Traffic Commission meeting. The other thing that I just wanted to double check on is another address that was approved previously for a handicap sign back in October. And I sent communication to the Revere 311 alert. It was 48 Pitcairn Street. Sign still hasn't been put up. They removed the one at 44 Pitcairn Street, but they didn't put one next door at 48 Pitcairn Street. So I just wanted to double check on that. So you'll be getting on the email communication with 311 to see if that service request got lost somewhere in the shuffle.
Okay, we can certainly expedite that.
Okay.
And a motion to move 98 Coolidge or Crescent Ave to a public hearing. Okay? Crest.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Just one more thing. I also included a draft for the proposed citywide parking ordinances that's going before the council and the parking clerk for you guys to review at your own convenience. But it will be before us probably within the next month or 2.
Okay, very good, thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Okay, thank you.